Kunal Mahajan, and I'm a person who stutters. I've been working in investment banking for 13 years, and so currently I work here at, uh, at a bank in New York City called SMBC, and I'm really excited today to be talking about bringing improv to the stuttering community, and I also have one of my new colleagues here, Alex. If you want to introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Kunal. Hey, everyone. My name's Alex. I actually just graduated from Temple University 2 days ago, but I'm also a person who stutters, and I've been through speech therapy my entire life, and I've been in the NSA for about 4 years now, and I'm actually going to be joining SMBC with Kunal in July.
Mm-hmm. Um, Thanks, Alex. And one thing Alex did mention too, he came. We had a mock interview for the stuttering community actually, and we actually hired him from that as well. So we've worked a lot together, through these stuttering initiatives. So really, why are we talking about improv today? In relation to the stuttering community, I think just from my own just from my own journey, right? It was a kind of like a story of like need to hide my stutter, went through the therapy, got the started to get the acceptance, went to started doing Toastmasters, working on my speech. I founded the disabilities network at my firm, so speaking on panels. So it was like, so yeah, like, so definitely I felt like I was progressing, but like I still always felt like I was still fearing this fear of judgment. And so basically, I mean, I started to get into improv because I saw these improvisers, and I was just so amazed at what these guys were doing, just being able to just speak from the cuff. And I saw it as that next challenge of something that I thought like I could never do. So that's really why I dove into it. And so I've been I've been studying and performing improv for the past 2.5 years. Just over at Magnet Theatre in New York City. And so I initially started over at UCB Theatre. And so just for me getting so much growth from it, like I actually launched this improv program at our organization as well. And so I think like as we think about the problem or the challenge, like whenever we talk about the stuttering community, but also just the wider disability community, we found that we had a lot of introverts at our firm who just like weren't really speaking up, and so we felt like, okay, given the business we're in, we want to create leaders. We want people to speak up. We want people to find their voice. Unfortunately, a lot of the working world is that the people who speak up, the people who have a voice, those are the ones who excel through the organization. Those are the ones who become leaders. So let's roll out this improv program as a way to help people find their voice. And so I think just as we think about the stuttering community, there's a lot of fears of judgment, trouble finding their voice, some confidence challenges. I think during the COVID-19 as well, I think we had some challenges with the social isolation. I think we've heard a lot about a bit of a mental health crisis that's been happening in our society as well. And so there's this great need to have this program to develop a way to reconnect with others. Also just increasing happiness levels, right? I think people's around social connections brings a big mood boosters, and finally just to actually increase people's overall self-confidence. So we found that improv could be this great solution to help bring all of these things. And so like what exactly is improv. I think sometimes people think improv, they think, oh, that's like about comedy. Like, it really isn't. I mean, like, improv is a form of live theater where the plot, characters, and dialogue are made up in the moment. And so, like, I think that, like, it's a really magical feeling because I think that you have to be very present. Like, like, what's on the other side of uncertainty. Like, it's really like an amazing and freeing feeling, kind of trying to embody different characters and trying to establish a connection with someone in the moment. And so really all that you're doing is just developing a relationship with someone in this fictional world here. And so I think just some of the basic structure about improv, which we will dive into, is that first, just establishing the base reality, so the who, what, and where, and then the second portion is just finding the game, which is that first unusual thing. And so just before we dive in, I think just as we think about improv, I mean, there's so many great benefits just in terms of how it strengthens your listening skills, enhance your communication skills, helping reduce that fear of judgment, which by the way, everybody fears judgment. You know, whether you're a stutter, if you're a woman, different racial groups, the LGBT community. I think a lot of these underrepresented groups fear judgment. And so there's a lot of research about how people who practice improv, it improves their psychological well-being and increases their self-esteem, which we found was a huge thing for a lot of the people in our disabilities network, of people who had low confidence and low self-esteem, and that's what was holding them back there. So with that, here I'll hand over to Alex to start to take us through some of the lessons here about improv.
Thanks, Kunal. So as Kunal mentioned, there's kind of two basic components of improv. There's the base reality part and then the game part. And the base reality part can just really be thought of as like the underlying groundwork or framework of the scene, which is just provides kind of like the roots for the scene to then progress into the game. And overall, the base reality can really be broken down into four main components. First off, probably the most important is active listening. And we're going to talk about this kind of yes and structure, so when you are active listening in an improv scene, you have to always be comprehending and synthesizing the information that your scene partner gives. So kind of through this yes and structure, yes refers to you agreeing to the information your partner is saying, and then and is kind of you just adding your own information to the scene as well. And really, you can't do this unless you are active listening. And it's just really important while you are active listening to focus on voice tonality and non-verbal cues. But additionally, the second part of the second component of the base reality is the environment, which again is just setting the stage of the scene, like what is the location. And then third, throughout the scene, you want to make sure you make the relationship clear to not only your scene partner, but also your audience, just because the relationship that you have with your character, with your scene partner, pretty much dictates how the whole rest of the scene is going to play out. And then finally, the last part of the base reality is just trying to maintain a certain point of view or attitude, which really are the traits that your character embodies, which just makes it clear kind of just like how the scene is going to play out, just like attitude wise. And it's just really important to kind of establish all of these components as early on in the scene as possible, just because it really helps make it clear for your scene partner who you're working with and talking with, as well as your audience who's listening, just to really like understand what's going on and what is the main groundwork of the scene. Now you can go to the next slide. Thanks. So now for the second part of an improv scene. So after the base reality is established, we can then introduce the game. And the game is really just what makes the scene funny. And it's kind of kind of like a consistent pattern of new behaviors that kind of breaks from the expected patterns of the scene. And this is kind of where the whole if then part of the improv comes in, which just means if this unusual thing is true, then what else is true? And normally this gets introduced after the base reality of the scene has already been established. And like, this is different than yes anding, because in the yes anding, you're really just trying to develop the underlying framework of the scene. And then after you have the framework, then you can start throwing out like some sort of goofy idea and then just moving from there. And like, if you look at the graphic that I have at the bottom right, it shows kind of how the base reality of the scene, as Kunal mentioned, the like who, what, where, that's kind of the framework of the scene. And then as you progress, you can throw out a single comedic idea. And then from there, throughout the rest of the improv scene, you would just work with your scene partner to develop and then heighten that as well. And just a couple tips on trying to establish game. It's just really important that you try to focus on one single idea when you are trying to establish game and just expanding it. And a lot of improvisers also use this technique called framing, which is just like you letting your scene partner know that like you acknowledge that either the game is being introduced or that they just introduced it, and that you're ready to roll with it. Kunal, you can go to the next slide. Thank you. So now just a couple like best practices for new improvisers. It's really important when you establish the base, while you're establishing the base reality, to really focus on kind of this yes and framework. And this can also be applicable just to real life as well. When you're talking with someone, you always kind of want to acknowledge what a person says, and then you want to can like add on as well. And that's kind of how the framework of improv works too. And then also when you are in these scenes, you want to be in a grounded, realistic and truth. You want to do so in a grounded, realistic and truthful manner, just kind of like as if you were playing the character you were embodying. If you were embodying the character yourself in the scene. And then also, since improv is meant to be fun and it comes from a judge-free, supportive environment, you should really be slow and thoughtful in your responses and try to have ideas come from inspiration rather than panic. And then finally, just the most important part is just to maintain active listening throughout the scene, because this really helps you be able to kind of synthesize the information that your scene partner may give throughout the scene, and then you could figure out whether you want to contribute, develop, or just expand the ideas. And then just a couple quick things to avoid. You don't want to ask questions during improv just because it removes opportunities where you could be contributing ideas, and then also denying your partner's ideas. So example, like saying no to an example, your partner throws out, that kind of slows the scene progression down. And then also, you also want to avoid offensive choices just because it risks creating conflict throughout the scene. And then also, you don't want to be a control freak because improv is meant to be fun and it's supposed to be spontaneous, and it kind of kills the truthfulness of the scene. And then
great, Alex. And so listen, just a couple of misconceptions I think for improv. I think some people think, oh, I'm not funny. Improv is for extroverts, only for actors. I mean, it's just not true. Like everyone can benefit from improv, but because it's just like confidence. Confidence can be developed, right? Both introverts and extroverts doing improv are operating without any preparation, right? And I think that's what's so magical. I mean, that I see at our program at SMBC. You have senior MDs doing scenes with first year analysts, right? And it's just an amazing thing because they're, the playing ground is so level, right? And they're able to connect through that. Also, yeah, I mean, it can be learned. It's just like, working out at the gym, right? There's active listening, communication, collaboration. These are all skill sets that can learn. I think a lot of people have said, improv is about comedy training for team building. The comedy is a byproduct of the improv. I think what all that we're doing here is listening to each other, trying to establish a relationship connection. Like, this is what we do every single day whenever we're trying to communicate with someone. And so that's all that improv is doing, is forcing you into those situations. And also, I mean, like was mentioned in the chat, I mean, this is such a great life skill, because I think by doing improv, it helps you with your presentation skills, creativity, the personal development, just letting go of the fears of judgment. Like, I think anytime you're in one of the scenes, like, you realize, like, the stakes, like, don't really matter that much, and we can kind of take on different characters, and like how we sound, or whether we're stuttering, or like we have repetitions, like none of this stuff really matters, because you're so focused on establishing the connection with your scene partner, right? Like this is, like, that is what is human connection is all about, right? It's not about my blocks or my repetitions. It's about, like, understanding who that person is, and why they're saying what they are, and me responding to that. So with that, we're just going to go to a couple of benefits for the stuttering community. If you want to talk about that, Alex.
Yeah, sure. So there are a ton of benefits of improv for stutterers, but first off, I mean, it can help boost your individual self-confidence and reduce your fear of judgment from others. So just because you are in this very supportive, judgment-free zone, it kind of gives you free opportunities just to speak from naturalness rather than panic and pressure. And because, like, you're in an improv scene and you're present, I mean, this like, most people are, like, always on their toes and ready for whatever's thrown at them. Additionally, because you are in a formal setting, you are in a formal structured setting, there are minimal interjections while you're speaking, so this just gives you opportunities to practice communication skills and just practice speech techniques you might want to practice. And then additionally, just because of the low pressure, judgment-free environment, and again, because you're using active listening, you're just naturally going to be present and just aware of everything going on. And then finally, additionally, you do develop active listening skills throughout improv, and these can be used in all aspects of life and really just help you form deeper connections with friends and family as well. And then finally, improv is just a huge morale booster. Everyone's always having fun, laughing, and you're also forming social connections and friendships along the way. So the way that you can really obtain, so the way you can just obtain all these benefits is just by signing up, like participating in improv, and then just practicing and then fine-tuning your skills.
Great. And so listen, I mean, like, there's a couple of ways to get involved in improv. I think, again, there's improv theaters all over the world, but I think Magnet Theatre is one place in New York City that I have trained at, and they're also the vendor who we use at our company as well. They have online classes as well, and also and also, so Alex is going to put this in the chat, but actually on May 26th, we're having a improv performance at our company. So every 2 months we have about 15 employees go through a improv program, and then they put on a performance. And so for this one, we're gonna invite the stuttering community to this performance, so that they can see, so that they can see what these full performances, hear from our employees about how this really impacted them. And so the last 30 minutes, we will have some of our employees doing some scenes with people from the stuttering community. So so with that, so with that, I know Alex is gonna put those details in the chat. I mean, so hopefully people can sign up to come to that event. And, and so listen, we have about 20 minutes left. We just want to demonstrate some of this to you guys, because again, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything unique about me or Alex. None of us are really that funny. Neither of us grew up with the comedic background. It's just so much of this is just about learning the rules of improv, putting yourself out there, and just getting the reps in. So I just think that's why that's why I've been so passionate about, is that we need to give people a tool to help them come outside of their comfort zone. So with that, so with that, can someone just give us a one-word suggestion? And so we will use that one word to inspire our scene here. So feel free, as someone, to just yell at any word. Go ahead, Doug.
Powerful.
Stuttering.
No, powerful.
Sorry. Powerful. Okay, powerful. Whoa, man, John, you've been you look like you've really been hitting the weights there pretty hard there.
Yeah. No, I've actually just started this kind of new routine I've been on. I've just been eating really healthy. I've been eating salads and just been drinking a ton of protein shakes every day. But like, I could give you my routine if you want.
Okay, yeah. Listen, by all means, I know we just started out college here, so yeah, I mean, it's great here, for us to start getting healthy here and everything.
Oh yeah. No, Dave, trust me. I've been doing this routine for weeks now, and just as you can see, the results show.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not really seeing it actually. There's not. Is there? Yeah. Or wait, Dave, is those do you have pillows under your shirt?
I mean, yeah,
dude, are those pillows? What? I mean, wait, what's under? Is that another shirt under your to bring out your shoulders more?
Yeah. So
dude,
on this plan, you just gotta shove the pillows in your shirt.
Dude, what do you? Oh my, you're stuffing to make yourself look bigger?
But
dude, this is embarrassing, man. Come on.
Isn't that what all the guys are doing at the gym?
I mean, no, man, no. Okay. We will call the scene there. So listen, I think just again, I mean, it's just I just think I mean, for me in this scene, right, I'm just I'm just trying to understand what trying to understand him as my roommate, what is really kind of causing him to look that way. And so I just think so love to hear from you, Alex, but for me it's just because I'm trying to figure out what exactly is this relationship. There's just no time that I'm able to exert on, how I'm coming across with my stutter, or just because I'm so much in the moment there. But I'd love to hear from you, Alex. Any kind of reflections you got there?
Yeah, I think definitely just you have to use a lot of active listening techniques, and then also it's meant it's not it's not meant to be funny, but it always ends up being funny just from being in a truthful, groundful manner. And then there's just so many benefits.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely. So listen, and then something else that I've started to do is something called musical improv. So with musical improv, you again, we just develop a scene, and so that can then inspire a certain song. I mean, that you can also improvise. Can someone else give us another just one word suggestion to inspire a scene? Go ahead, Drew.
Stuttering.
Stuttering. Okay. Sammy, I love your I love that shirt you got on there.
Oh, thanks.
Where-
I actually just got it at the National StutterFest. Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
whoa,
right across the street.
okay. The StutterFest. Wow, that sounds like, it sounds like some kind of macho type of conference there.
Oh yeah, it's the best. It's the best around. They had so many guest speakers, such great food. I actually ate all the food.
What? Wow, man. Wow, this conference. Wow, it really sounds like something magical there.
Yeah. I could get you involved if you wanted.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on. Man, this is making me think about this really thing. So here, let me tell you what I feel about this. Stuttering is fun. Stuttering is fun. They're going crazy at StutterFest. Stuttering is fun. They're the big new conference in town.
Wow.
I have heard that they're more than just a bunch of clowns. They are coming from all over the world. Man, I'm sure some of them are probably even some pretty good dancers and can twirl. Stuttering is fun. Stuttering is fun. Stuttering is fun. Stuttering is fun. But maybe they're really nervous to be open. I don't know I don't know what we can do to help them. I'm sure they're still trying to find themselves out there. That's okay because we are together here instead of somewhere. Stuttering is fun. Stuttering is fun. Stuttering is fun. Stuttering is fun. Okay, we will call it there. So again, I think just like again, like you have no idea what you have no idea the lyrics for any of these, right? And like all that all that I'm using there is like was just some song structure, right? So a chorus and then a verse and then the chorus and then like a bridge. So, but it's just, and again, I have no idea how many repetitions were happening there or blocks or stutters, but like I think the message here is that in order to communicate and speak from the heart and get across like however you are genuine feeling, you just have to be kind of here in the moment there. And like I'm not really thinking about how is this all coming off, or like what are the audience thinking, or like do my words making sense, right? Because I have literally seconds to formulate these ideas. But like I think what's just so magical is that we see here is that hopefully some of the things were resonating with you. And like I think what brings a lot of smiles to people is when they just hear like level of authenticity and they can relate. And so like I think these are just all the reasons why I think improv is just so magical, because it puts you in these positions where you have to say something here, right? And like, but I think it's a very supportive environment because everyone realizes that, we're not going off of any kind of script, right? We're just reading the dynamics of these relationships, trying to embody different characters, and just exploring that to see what comes out of that. So yeah, like yeah, I don't know if you have any reflections on that, Alex.
Yeah, I think just one thing to note also, just because like these scenes are like structured and they're meant and like everyone in it like knows exactly what's going on, it just like encourages people to just talk like very, very natural and not necessarily be worried about what other people think or just like from a state of panic. So I think like that's just like more so like conditioning that like can be like directly like applicable when you leave the improv scene and when you go into real life.
Exactly. I think a lot of this is just kind of training for real life. So you can play with all these made up scenes on the spot, and then it just shows up because you become more confident and you find your voice and you're like, oh yeah, listen, I got something to say here. Like, the stakes, yeah, you just start to realize the stakes don't really matter that much. Especially when you're able to do this and just kind of get up on stage and sing and play different characters. So with that, like, I know we have about 9 minutes. So any kind of questions anyone has, yeah, please feel free, because something that I'm very passionate about. Alex is as well, and that I really believe in to really help develop our the disability community, but I think the overall stuttering community in any underrepresented group, to be honest. Here, Steph.
Kunal, I had the pleasure of attending one of your workshops at another online conference, and I went into the breakout room with the improv, and I was so nervous because I've not done drama since like high school, and I was like, gosh, I'm really gonna stink at this. It was a blast. Like, we had such a great time. We were all laughing. It was community. It was fellowship amongst people who, some of us knew each other, some of us didn't. And we were all doing it, and we were all really good at it too. So it was really, I just wanted to share that as someone who's participated in one of your workshops. It was kind of a self-confidence, like, enthralling experience too, because I'm like, I thought I was gonna really stink, but that was really fun and I actually could participate. So don't be afraid to participate in improv if you're like, I've never done it. I was like, man, I'm really gonna stink, and I really didn't. Like, it's not tuning my horn, but none of us did. We all did really, really well and just had a really good time. So I just wanted to share that.
Absolutely, Steph. And I think that the key is, right, there's no right answer for any of these scenes. Like, so long as you're not like prejudiced, racist, don't discriminate towards people. I mean, everything else is like, anything else you say is okay, right? So it's just like, I think it's a very empowering feeling whenever you're like, oh, all I gotta do is be honest and listen and connect with someone and develop a relationship. Like, we can all do that, right? And so, but I think everyone comes into it like, yeah, I won't be good at this. So yeah, thanks so much for sharing that. Any other kind of questions from anyone? Drew?
Yeah, so thanks for that presentation. So you said there are like virtual improv groups. Do you like recommend some that we can join?
Yeah. So again, like, I mean, so again, I mentioned Magnet Theatre. So basically, they have, I mean, they have virtual classes you can take here, and so again, they teach you all the lessons me and Alex shared here today, but like, you get a lot of real kind of practice. And another famous theater also is UCB Theater. Again, they also have virtual classes. So both of those are based in New York, but I know, improv is a universal thing. So no matter which kind of country any of you guys are in, they will have them there for your local time zone there.
No, there's also one question in the chat as well. I'm not sure if you saw that.
Yeah. So Denise says, what can you do when no one in the group wants to do the talking? How can you convince them this is fun? Um, yeah. So listen, I think just one is that, like just at my, remember, I work at a Japanese investment bank, right? So it's not like everyone was like, oh man, let's do this. This would be so awesome. But, I think you get a few champions, right? And a few people, the first group we had, it was 8 people who did it. And so they had such a good experience. Then it started to spread. And now this is like a program that the whole company signed up for. We've had 50 people go through it. So yeah, I do think that there'll probably be a lot of people who aren't believers of this, but like I think what you can do is like you get involved in and have a few others, have them come watch you guys, tell them about it. And I think that's what I've seen. More people have been joining this program at our company because they're hearing the word of mouth from others who said like this was so much fun, they grew so much here. So I think that's the best way to combat that. Any other questions from the group?
Yeah. First off, this was super cool. So thank you, Alex and Kunal. I was wondering if you might have advice for like if I wanted to introduce improv with somebody else, like who I have a relationship with. Like, what do you think are some ways that could be a good way of like just introducing it in, like, I don't know, like in when you're just with one other person in conversation?
Yeah.
And, because I think that could be a really fun way of connecting and building.
Yeah, listen, Mark, that's such a great question. Because you're right. Like, I mean, I've started like to like kind of start some of these virtual groups myself with some of my friends group, and you're right. It's a great way to actually connect kind of with them as well. So like, I mean, I would say that. Because like I honestly I think the best way to introduce this to people is like so like I mean a lot of these companies such as like Magnet Theatre, they offer like a free intro virtual class, right? And so again, I think just like I mean having someone sign up with you like for that is a good way just to get people's feet wet. Because yeah, like I mean I definitely hear you that I think sometimes you can explain this to someone a million times and they won't get it. It kind of like takes actually going to see it. And also too, right? I mean, I think just going to watch a improv show too is really helpful because you can start to envision, like that's how I got inspired. I saw these people up there doing these scenes. I was like, oh man, like I'm so scared that I can never do that. And then after I was doing improv for a while, then I went to musical improv and I was like, I can't sing. I'm a terrible singer. I can't, also musical improv, you have to choreograph. So you gotta make up dance moves on the fly too. So like, I can't dance. So I got inspired to do musical improv now. So I feel like that, it's kind of like the exposure therapy, right? Like no one's ever gonna like a dog until you like get them around the dog. And I think improv is the same way. It's just like you got to just like go to a show, like type in YouTube improv show, like so that people are actually getting exposed to like this is a thing that normal people are doing, as a way to help them grow and develop themselves here. It's not, in my classes, they're not actors, they're regular professionals here who are struggling with, they felt like they're introverts or they want to be able to speak up more, but they can't. So they're like, they found this as a tool to help them. And so I think that's why for our stuttering community, it could be a really powerful development tool here.